Welcome. This is Lianne Bridges from Shift Village. Shift Village is a network of people and resources to help you live your life to its fullest. And at the core is really helping people do what they love in a sustainable way. So this interview series is starting with my pleasure with Geneviève Emond. And we're going to talk to people about what they do, what they really love, and how they got there. What were some of the challenges and how they overcame it, for us to really help inspire all of us to live that life. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce you to Geneviève, and her background is in education innovation, which is exactly what we need right now. And I'm sitting in her beautiful garden in Montreal, where there's a massive movement afoot in the education sector. Geneviève has worked not only locally and nationally, but also internationally, and she started her career, if I'm correct, with the United Nations in education, and currently has her own consulting firm, which is called MUSA, which is Creative Education Solutions. So what I'm going to start with, if you welcome you, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lianne.
And ask you a little bit about how your path to getting to do the work that you love. How did you get here, and what do you do that you really love?
What do I love to do?
Yes, what do you love to do?
As you said very beautifully, Lianne, I'm a social innovator, mainly in the educational sector, and an entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur. I like to do new things, and create new things. I'm very concerned by how people can actually reach their full potential and how much they can reach it in our society. And I've always been dragged into the educational system because I really taught since a very young age that it could do better for us all and for each of us. For me, it was very obvious. So this is actually what I love to do. When I can do something that creates a little bridge or makes something new or differently that will enable people to reach their potential better, I feel good. I do it with the educational system because I feel this is, I would call it like some sort of my mission to help this system to grow and do his job or his mission better. But I could do the same thing elsewhere as well, but I basically chose to concentrate and put my energy into this field. Plus, it's a wonderful field as well because I work with kids, I work with human beings that are, trying to reach their full potential. So it's very exciting. For me, it's working with our positive sides as well, not only with our problems and our challenges. So.
That's excellent.
This is what I love to do.
That's great.
Good.
And how does it relate to the larger shift that's happening in the world? We talk a lot about it, but in your case in particular, there's a shift in education. And in Montreal seems to be a bit of a seed for what's happening globally.
It's very exciting at the moment for social innovators like me working in the educational sector because I've been working for like more than, I would say, 15, 16 years in this field, trying to help this shift. But it was not completely obvious to me at the beginning what I was doing and what was coming. We had a lot of ups and downs with how the educational systems were, innovating or innovating less or going in different directions. And lately, what we see, the way I see it myself, is that we see that people are more aware of what's happening. Maybe they're not completely aware of how we could change it or what we could do, but they scream, they go outside and they say, we don't like it, we don't feel good, we would like something different for ourselves. And the fact that it happens in the street is very interesting to me because it means like that we regain access to our public spaces as well, and where we can meet and we can learn together. So this is something that I find very, very key. It pushes me forward because I think that my work is better received lately. People ask more questions, go more deeply into what we could do. I have more mandates that are, I would say, a bit more edgy than what I did in the past. It's going faster, so I really see there's a shift that I've been seeing for a long time, but now we're getting into, how do you call that, into the
manifesting it, I guess, no?
but it's going faster.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
going
yeah.
faster.
Speeding up.
Yeah, because that's not only what you see outside or the people that are screaming, it's also how it affects the whole system and how people in power position mainly as well react and say, oh, maybe we should ask ourselves a few questions. Maybe there's something we could change. Maybe we're not completely right, and I don't talk about right or wrong, but just how we could do better together. So it's sort of like a little window we have right now to penetrate the system and say, well, this is what I'm trying, at least, like say, look, we could maybe, try something new here. And I don't know exactly how the system will change, but I'm just trying to go with the flow and accompany the shift. So this is what I'm doing. By doing very concrete project, by the way. I'm not concrete projects like, I could give you example of what it is.
Yeah,
it could be
to
just
give us
like,
one example would be
it
great.
could be just like, like one concrete action in one school where we are helping people to, communicate better together, open themselves to the community. For example, I have a project like that at the moment. I work a lot in intercultural education. Diversity is a very good as well path through, touching where we are. I'm different than you, so how could we create systems that are very, very aware that we are different and we need different things to be able to blossom, not only, the same thing for everyone. So
Perfect.
So that's one example. Another example could be, for example, this summer I'm going to do a few mandates, a few projects where I work with teachers and school principals to help them build their capacities to better change their schools, their classrooms, because changes has to happen at different levels and they have to do this together. So this is another action I do. I work with different levels of, I think that the key level, although what I see lately is more like the school principals and teachers where we can do a lot in the actual system. But I believe the system will transform itself a bit more than what we can see right now. Probably faster than what we can imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how it relates. There's a matter of, I think I wrote something for Lianne, and in this text I wrote something about like how I in the past 15 years saw that it was when I began my career, I was evaluating and analyzing educational innovations, educational good practices around the world. And in the 90s, it was a lot easier than it became. People were a bit more open to change, to bring innovations within the system. And I really saw at the international level a big breakdown in 2001 September, after the towers, where people were scared. And after 2001 it became a lot more difficult. And lately in the past 2 years I see there's like more opening and the systems are becoming a little bit more flexible. So it was not easy. 2002 and 3 and 4, like at some point I was almost not able to work with the system anymore. Not only me, but different professionals that we work with the system. And I see with great delight what's happening right now. I'm just like, wow, like it's very exciting. This is what I was expecting, and I think it's going to come, as I said, more and more. So how could we? My question is today: how can we bring more life and more soul into the system, so that people can feel there's more air, more freedom inside.
And that sounds like that's your mission, to try to help people to do that.
Yeah, and even at university level, that's the same thing. I hear
Yes.
very often people saying, "I feel I don't breathe. It's too difficult. I have to follow a very strict path, even though it's been changing, and it's probably easier right now to choose a different path than it was in the past, but it's I think we have a lot more to do.
So a lot of people think the movement that's happening in Montreal is just about tuition, and that they are crybabies and whiners. How would you respond to that? Is that
I don't get into this because I think it's just like the iceberg.
right? The tip of the
Right,
iceberg.
it's just like we could have chosen anything else. It was just like a bomb that exploded, and that was, according to me, that was like one
Yes.
reason for it. Doesn't mean it's not important, and because we're tackling access, like the educational access to education is important. Free access to education is probably very important as well, but like the issue people are talking about right now, to me, is not the most important that we should tackle. I think that many people do realize that right now,
Right.
but it's just that the outside public conflict is it's just up there.
On the very tip.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like I don't get into analyzing that too much, but I find it very interesting to follow, to see how it's just like basically maybe from both sides at some points, like there's a lot of unawareness and just like like fighting for my position. So how are we gonna solve that? Probably it's been solved at other levels within the society right now. We don't see everything. The media are just like showing us
the tip of the
a little
iceberg. I think that
part.
analogy is great because there is this mountain underneath the water that you've been feeling because you've been in the water
This is what
for a
I
long
see.
time.
Yeah, this is
And,
what I see.
and it's being expressed only at the tip, and the people that haven't been in don't understand. They're just seeing that
They
tip.
just see the tip. They think that's a big problem we have, but it's something a lot more global that we're going through right now. Like that, I feel, and not only me, because I talk with people. If I go to schools, to university, to congresses, you too. We see that. It's important to bring more voices to the issue or the so-called problem that we see right now. I see that more as an opportunity and a challenge. Although I acknowledge as well the fact that it's dangerous as well to be in such a situation that we don't want to have violence or like things that are not going to be good for us all. But people have to be responsible as well for what they're doing. Sometimes I'm not sure that as a collective we can. So this is those things we don't control, right?
A lot of shift going on in the world in many different sectors: the financial sector, the economic sector, the education sector, the health sector, and what is possibly really a solution is for people to bring their gifts, that what they really love to do, into that challenge, if you will. And so what you're doing is in the education sector, bringing your love and trying to deal with the challenges there and the shift. So maybe if you could explain for other people who are also at that cusp, thinking, how can I bring my gifts? I see all these obstacles ahead of me. How can I do it? And so I think hopefully they can learn from others who are already doing it, like yourself, who are already on that path, and maybe to hear about some of your challenges. So if you could just share with us a little bit about how you got to where you are today.
It's always difficult to get the story all together, but it's like an artist, I think, like that. I try to create my life day after day, to see, sometimes it's structured, I know what I'm going to do. Other days it's just new and it's surprising me, and I try to, incorporate this into my path. So this is important for me to just keep all the time this kind of open, I don't know if it's only open heart, but open kind of posture for what could come. I was a very bright little girl, and it started with school. For me, my own experience was difficult and boring. I was successful, but I felt inside that it was not the most important to just get good grades and just go through your years. And I realized that since maybe a very young age, I built something inside that was telling me, like, you're going to do something to make this better for others. For you, it was like not, even university, sometimes it was okay, but sometimes it was less okay. For me, I was expecting something more exciting, more open to the world, where we could experiment, we could be together, and it was always difficult. I found out it was always a bit like, limiting for me, and I know for many others as well. So it was inside that I always felt I'm gonna do something, but how? It was difficult for me. I just followed my path. And as you said at the beginning, I worked for big institutions at the beginning of my career, and at some point I chose to leave and to go not by myself, but yes, basically a little bit by myself at the beginning and with others at some other points as well. And I created my own work, my own offer, which is why probably there's not like a lot of people that are doing exactly what I am doing, because it's just like my love, something that I love to do, my own self, and creating something that is just it fits with me, and it fits with what's happening outside as well, because I want to connect with others. It's not only my dream, it's something that I need a mirror from the environment to construct and to go along my path. And I'm a very relational person myself, so I don't know if it like applies to everybody else, but I need to, be with others in order to learn. I know that I'm an experiential learner, and I need to move, to discover stuff, to go out my office and my home, and then so this is very important to me. So I've been creating something that is me, and it became my life and my work, and it's very, very linked, and more lately, it's not only two different parts of my life, but it's becoming like my life, right? You were talking about the challenges as well.
If I can just interject there. You're on to something I think that's really important about following yourself, even though the school system maybe wasn't supporting you exactly where you need to go, and to create it yourself and doing it in a way that mirrors the outside world. Maybe if you could just mention about how you did that, because I think people would like to do that, but they don't know where to even start.
Exactly. It was not the starting point. Like the main starting point was for me leaving the institution and decided to create my own company. But I would say I was probably strong enough at that point and well supported by others, so that I was able to do that. I had a few mentors, and the institutional setting enabled me to do that. It was supportive at that time. I was talking about 2001, but for some reasons that happened in 2002, and people were, we felt that was like not easy with the educational system, but some individuals felt we had to create something different to support the changes that were going to come. So I've been supported by a few people that I'm still, for some of them, in contact with, but I'm not working with them at the moment. They're not even in Montreal. It was not in Montreal. It happened in Geneva. So that was like one, like the main, the starting point, I would say for me, the main starting point. I had others after. And the main challenge, it was not easy to do that. I had a lot of doubts, and I had to always come back to myself and say, I want to make sure that I feel I have integrity with myself and I'm authentical enough to trust that this is what's true to me. Sometimes I had to say no to people or go alone myself, just because it was strong inside. So I think this is something that we should trust and cultivate when we feel this is what I have to do. I hear many people, and maybe myself as well sometimes, because I have my doubt days and moments, and as everybody else, just they say I don't think what I have to bring is worth enough, or this is not something special, or I don't say what I'm bringing is special and I'm the only person thinking that. I'm just trying to be myself, you know, and then bring it to the word. And I think that's key. Just to say, I don't think we're all the same. We all have these doubts and these moments, and so let's jump into it and just do it. And this is important. And as we grow in age, it's more difficult.
Yes. How do you know?
This is the way I feel. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. And I think that's important. How did you know when you felt you were being authentic or you were in alignment with your path? You kind of, people can't see, but you were motioning to your chest, almost like there was a feeling inside you.
It's here. Yeah. I mostly feel it when I'm not authentical. I've been cultivating body awareness, which is I'm gonna reach my 40s right now, and I'm completely sure after all those years, it's not that I'm old, but you know, I have this kind of experience where I know if I feel this, I have to listen. Yeah. And I still this sometimes don't listen. It happens that I don't, and I'm like, you know, I pay for that. Yes. As well when I don't listen. So it's mainly when I don't feel good, like it has all different kind of symptoms. It could be my head, my stomach, feeling nervous. It's a very bad sign most of the time, you know, for me.
As opposed to butterflies, a real nervousness, sometimes
butterflies like something that you feel that it's not okay, I don't. So to just like answer your question, being authentical, usually I feel calm and I feel joyful and I feel that people are interested to be with me. You know, like there's something that connects with relationships as well.
Well, and that leads me perfectly to the next question, which is really about how being on your authentic path helps change your world, how it changes what you start to talk about your health, and how when you're not on the right path, you start to have headaches and that type of thing. But when you are, you're feeling joy, which must, I would imagine, seep into your home life and your relationships, your health and your well-being.
Yes, my husband and son, they know, you know, if I had like on not authentical or unauthentical day or meeting, or they know. And I would say they probably are as well on the same path, their own, but you know, we're together, we're supporting each other. So it's all interconnected in my life. My family life, and I would say as well my brother, not only my husband and son, but my mother, my sister, my brother family, my friends, some of my friends, not all the time, all of them, but and my colleagues and the people I meet in my life, and moments like this one is a very interesting, authentical moment for me. And the challenges are part of this, because I think that when I get into relationships that don't work, or moments that are difficult where I don't feel I can be authentical, or it's all like about learning about myself, how I can overcome this. Do I choose not to continue here, or to go elsewhere, or do I try to do it differently, or is it sometimes it's ourselves as well with our confidence, you know? It's Absolutely. Not only the others, are sometimes it's the others, but you know, like this is just what I've learned, and it affects my health. Like if I'm good, I do what I love, I'm authentical, I'm healthy.
Perfect.
I sleep well, I eat well, you know, it's easy to do all this well.
Amazing.
I'm not sick. I'm sick sometimes, but it's not very often that I get it's not easy to do that, because you have to, well, my own experience is that I have to be very aware all the time, you know, like if I just go, okay, I'm gonna go for vacation, which happens sometimes, but then something happens and it brings me back to, okay, is it what you want for yourself? So I don't believe that it's easy to do that. You know, there's like a trend that says, you know, you do it, it's easy, if you get into it, it's easy. I really don't believe it's easy. It's fun, it's very challenging, and it's what I want to do, but it's very nice. Sometimes it's difficult. I'm sorry to say, right?
The rewards are big, but sometimes it's difficult to say.
Sometimes it's difficult, and one of the main challenge that I've found as well, but maybe it's me that gives too much attention to that, is how the outside world is reacting to people that are doing what they want, are choosing. Sometimes it's difficult. There's challenges with like a more like I would say, I don't know how to call it, a mainstream society, or and because I'm working with the educational system, sometimes it's difficult, especially at the university level, for example.
Yes.
Where there's like specific paths you have to take, credits you have to earn, and if you choose your own path, sometimes you're not rewarded for that.
Right.
But it's something that I've taken with the package, right? Like, okay, this is what I choose. I'm gonna have to take this as well.
I'd like to ask you, as the shift is happening, as you're an innovator at the edge, so to speak, in education and in doing the work you love, what do you see coming next for you?
I see a lot of things, actually. I'm just gonna go for a few weeks now. I'm going home for vacation, and I find it very exciting to come back in August, September, especially with the school system, that we don't know what's gonna happen at the post-secondary level. Are they gonna go back to school or not, you know? So things can happen quickly, and we don't know exactly what's gonna happen. But myself, I'm doing a few very new pilot projects that are gonna start this fall, and they're a lot more, I would say, risky and advanced than what I've been doing in the past. So I'm very excited about that. In Montreal, which was as well my goal, because I've been working all around the world, and it's good as well, but I thought I want to do something as well locally where we can have an impact, because there's tremendous work to do with our basic school system here, our schools, our little schools, not only our big ones and our post-secondary institutions. I'm doing as well a few projects with newcomers, immigrants. I find it very refreshing. They have different views on the school system. This is one of my expertise, intercultural education. And these people are bringing amazing things. This is coming. This is growing. I'm going to be able to share more in a couple of months about that. And I believe that projects are just coming one after the other. People are asking me right now to come and help them. Many younger people, students are people beginning their careers in education, they just want to do differently, and they're looking for people that are already doing differently, or have been watching, or can share with them. So this is very exciting at the moment, how I can do, and others that I see around me, better and more than before. So I don't know if it's concrete enough for you, but I'll come back to you in a couple of months.
Great.
Because it's July, and
yes,
we don't
perfect.
do much in July usually.
Well, thank you very much for that, and thank you for the interview. If anyone wants to learn more about you, they can go to your website, which is musa-education.com.
Yeah. Or they can call me, I prefer.
Okay.
I like to hear voices.
Your phone number is?
514-504-5311.
And we'll post that as well with this posting. And also check out the Shift Village. We'll have some information on Geneviève and her work, as well as other people who are doing this great work in the world. And we look forward to comments. So in the meantime, remember that shift is happening, but it takes a village to thrive. So namaste.
Namaste, Lianne.